Hello and welcome to Belfast. We're here at the Europa Hotel for the weigh-in ahead of the IBF World Featherweight title showdown between Luis Alberto Lopez and the hometown boy, Michael Conlan. And of course, we need more than one hometown boy here. That's why I'm joined once again by Carl Frampton, who can't stop adding accolades to his name. It wasn't good enough being a 2-weight world champion. It wasn't good enough being Britain's coolest man in 2015. He's now Northern Ireland's 4th best tweeter, officially. It's I've seen the article. Must be a big day for your family.
Van Morrison?
No, I think it was Rory McIlroy, G-Mac, Eamon Holmes.
Eamon Holmes?
I know, the big names.
I'll take that, that's alright.
Also, the winner of the dad's race.
Well, I don't know if I won. I think I may have. It was tight between me and another guy, but I've come out of it a lot worse than him. I pulled my ham. I'm hoping I pulled it, or maybe a wee tear in it. It's pretty bad, but I mean, that's when you know you're getting old, isn't it?
Yeah, we're in a room, of course, with professional athletes all over the place, and Carl's had to get helped up onto the stage today. But forget that, he's obviously a mega hard boxer and he's still in the prime of his life, prime of his career, right?
Yeah, alright, yeah, I'll take it.
Carl, Belfast Fight Weeks, there's nothing like him, is there?
No, I think the buzz around the city has been amazing, and it's kind of reminds me of going back to when my big fights were happening. And it's not just about the fight night, it is about the whole fight week, and I've got that same sense of buzz and optimism about the people, and you know, we always hear Bunsey talking about it, so I'm not just going to say it's the best fight city in the world and people are going to listen to it because I'm from Belfast, but when Steve Bunce says it, a Cockney from London living wherever he's living now, when he says it and he means it, I agree. I think there's not a better place than Belfast for a fight.
And you know it's great because of the way the people here show up for their fighters, how much they care about their fighters. And I think we saw earlier today that the SSC Arena is sold out for this fight again, 10,000 seats.
Yeah, look, it didn't surprise me that it was going to be a sellout. It's a big fight. It's a world title fight with a very good undercard, with local boys on the undercard as well, in big fights themselves. So it was always going to sell out. It was always going to sell out, and I'm expecting a raucous atmosphere. I'm expecting a good night of boxing, competitive fights, and I'm hoping Mick can pull it off at the end. It's a hard fight, but I think he can pull it off, and I certainly hope he can anyway.
And Luis Alberto Lopez, obviously he went to Leeds and shocked Josh Warrington. You know full well how good a fighter Josh Warrington is, a world champion in his own right. This is nothing to look past. This is not an easy fight whatsoever, and I think this is a real enormous opportunity for both men, really.
It's not an easy fight at all, and I think that speaking to Mick and his brother and manager Jamie Conlan, they understand that, so it's important to know that they're not just here to show up and they win the fight. It's a difficult fight against a really credible guy, and one of the things that normally happens when fighters come to places like Belfast for the first time is there's a chance they could be spooked by the crowd and the atmosphere, but Lopez has done this, and he took the title off Josh Warrington in Leeds, which is as good an atmosphere as you can get in Belfast, so I don't think it's going to faze him in the slightest. But what I would be cautious of if you're Mick Conlan is getting too overeager and getting carried away with the crowd. He just needs to stay switched on, not get greedy, win the rounds by a little, doesn't need to win them by a mile, and I think he can become world champion.
He's obviously had a couple of wins since his loss against Lee Wood, back in the world title picture. What do you think he's learned as a fighter? What do you think he's adjusted and changed?
Well, I think that, look, it was a disaster really for him when he lost that fight at the time. Initially, an absolute disaster, but I think looking back and in hindsight, it may be a blessing in disguise where he's learned a lot about himself, a lot about different things that go on in preparation for a fight. In my eyes, it was a close fight, but he was winning the fight. People talk about him being chinny and stuff and how the knockout happened, because it was a pretty spectacular knockout, but it looked to me as if it was just down to pure exhaustion. It was a really competitive fight, fought at a high pace, and I think he was exhausted at the end. And one of the big things coming off the back of it was he fought Mariaga in his next fight coming back, who is a puncher, a danger man, and he stood up to him and done well, so I think that'll have gained him confidence again. He's got the confidence back, he's another win since, and it's all about confidence this game, and I think Mick has it, and he has it in abundance. He has to have it in abundance as well.
And a first round knockout last time out as well. If anything's going to help your confidence, it's that.
Absolutely, but I think he'd take more confidence from the Mariaga fight because he won the fight comfortably. He got nailed in the last round, but he stood up and he came back and won the rest of the last round. So I think that was a brave fight for him to take, and I think the confidence is back.
While we're talking about the featherweight world title, obviously there's other fights going on around the UK today. Maurizio Lara and Lee Wood fighting for the WBA featherweight title has had it sounds like a lot of controversy there today. Obviously we've been here, we've not seen any. From what I've gathered, Maurizio Lara wasn't allowed to weigh in at the 126-pound limit. He was told he can only weigh in at 128.5. He came in at 129.8, so he's 4 pounds heavier than Lee Wood for that fight. He's been stripped of the title by WBA. Lee Wood is the only one who can win it tomorrow night. But what's your opinion on how everything's gone on there?
It's all a bit of a mess. Obviously, there's check weigh-ins and check weights, and you have to meet them. But I think what's happened is the Board of Control are trying to do a good thing here, and they're trying to reduce Lara's risk of trying to kill himself to do the weight. But it's turned out that it's going to probably hurt Lee Wood more, because Lara's come in at almost 130 pounds. They've said he can't weigh below 128.5, so he just said, well, I'll weigh in whatever I want. He's weighing at 130. Lee Wood probably killed himself to do 126, and Lee Wood looked pretty gaunt on the scales, and Lara looked okay. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe they've got some sort of arrangement that Lara can't inflate, and he can only weigh a certain amount tomorrow. I hope that's the case, but if not, then it could be a very dangerous fight for Lee Wood.
What would you do in that situation? What do you think the best solution to this is?
As a fighter, you would fight. And I think
because Lee Wood, just before we went live, I was reading, Lee Wood wants the fight. He says, it's happening, but I suppose it's not really up to him.
It's a chance for a world title. It's a chance to win the world title again. But as the fighter, they're hard to come by. And Lee Wood's not the youngest guy in the world anymore, so he will want to fight. I think even if you wanted to pull out, you wouldn't be seen to pull out, because then people think this guy doesn't want it. So there's that sense of machoism as well. So it's about the team coming in and they have to make a decision for you. So Ben Davison, I don't know, he needs to step up and make a decision here, and maybe be forcing the board and the WBA to say that Lara can't weigh more than 135, something like that in the morning. I think that would be the only kind of benefit out of this for Lee.
Because that's the massive concern, isn't it? That is a huge weight difference now, and you know what these weigh-ins like. Lara will go away, have a pint of Guinness and a ham sandwich. He'll probably weigh 145 pounds at least tomorrow. The opportunity for danger is so high.
I think the real mistake was, so Lara was going to have his belt taken off him. He was going to have the belt relinquished. The mistake was saying that you can't weigh any less than
1, 2, 3.
That's lovely.
1, 2.
That's just for you. They're just trying to drown you out.
Right, Georgia.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
This is how the
1, 2, 3.
This is how the business works. We can hear you, Tom.
So I think that was a mistake saying 128.5. That was a big mistake, that he can't weigh any less. That means he can just weigh whatever he wanted. He could have weighed 135 if he wanted. So I think that was a mistake, and I don't know how to fix it, but there needs to be another way around that.
Yeah. Let's talk about the wider boxing world as well. Exciting news in the last couple of days that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence looks like it's finally about to happen. A fight that we've been wanting for years and years and years for the undisputed welterweight title. Did you think we're ever going to see it?
I was always hopeful, but I was thinking the longer it dragged on, it's probably not going to happen. But it's happening probably at the perfect time now. Two incredible fighters in their prime. It's not one of these ones where it's a Mayweather Pacquiao and they're doing it too late. This is a fight. This goes back to, Hagler, Hearns, that era. It's an unbelievable fight, and I can't wait for it. Genuinely can't wait for it.
Who do you think's going to win?
I don't know.
It's so hard to say, isn't it?
It's so hard to say. If you put a gun to my head, I'd probably just say Crawford. But then when I try to think about it and rationalise it, Crawford's a smaller guy in the fight. He started at lightweight and he's come right up, and he's a fully fledged welterweight now. But Errol Spence is a big welterweight. I don't know who wins. Both
of them haven't been the most active they've ever been in their careers, even for whatever reason, with promoters, and obviously Errol Spence had his injuries. It's you don't get many nights in boxing that are as exciting as that.
No, honestly, it's. I don't know what platform it's going to be. Maybe BT, soon to be TNT.
Get lads.
We'll bid for it. That would be a nice one to go to. But I mean,
me and Carl pitching for a flight to Vegas
I imagine everybody will want to have that fight on their platform. Humongous fight. And if you're a boxing fan, you'll be watching it. If you're a sports fan, you need to be watching it as well. This is one of the highlights of the sporting year for me.
And speaking of Queensbury fighters, Daniel Dubois, looks like that fight with Usyk's going to happen. Usyk-Fury fight's fallen out for whatever reason. We never know what's going to happen when it's negotiated in the heavyweights, but that looks like it's a fight that's going to happen for Dubois now. How big an opportunity is that for him?
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity. Look, it's a difficult fight. Usyk is, some people's eyes, the number one heavyweight on the planet. I'd say the majority of people would say that Tyson Fury's still the number one guy, but Usyk is either one or two. Daniel Dubois hasn't looked brilliant in his last few fights. He's done okay, but hasn't looked spectacular. No pressure on him really in the fight. He's a massive underdog, but he's a big puncher. He's an explosive guy. He's got a new coach. Hopefully he can try and implement new things with him. He always has a chance because he's a heavyweight and he can punch. Very athletic as well, but just hard to look past Usyk in that fight.
It's an incredible payday for him as well.
Yeah,
it looks like he's going to make $2 million from the fight.
It's not bad. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah, not bad for Night's fight. I know we pay you more to come here, but
no, look, fair play, and he deserves it. I suppose fighting at the top end of the sport and fighting a guy like Usyk, he deserved to be paid well. So I'm delighted for him, and hopefully he can pull it off. It's going to be a difficult ask, but I'm hoping he can do it.
And a brave fight as well. It looks like, I mean, nothing's been confirmed at this point, but it looks like it's going to be August the 12th. In Poland, so it'll be an away fight. Obviously, Poland bordering Ukraine. There'll be a lot of support for Usyk there. It'll be a real experience for him as very much an away fighter.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be, obviously he's done it where he went to America. He had that fight in Miami, which looked a bit mad, didn't it? And you know the deck chairs and stuff. It looked a bit chaotic to say the least. But this will be a different thing. This is a massive fight. The world's eyes will be on this, watching Dubois and Usyk fighting for 3 of the heavyweight titles. So. Big fight, a lot of people watching in a different country, a lot of new things to deal with, but again, I think the benefit for Dubois in this fight is there's no pressure on him. No one's really expecting him to win, so he just had to go under the radar, keep doing his things, and hopefully he can pull it off.
Let's bring it back to Belfast in this fight night on Saturday night, of course. You spoke to Anto Kakachi, who gets a homecoming fight for the first time in 8 years, I believe.
Mad, really. That's a bit of a shame, actually, that Anto hasn't had the chance to fight in Belfast in 8 years. He's a quality fighter, someone who I've talked about and raved about for a long time. But his career's been a bit stop-start with injury and managerial concerns and different things. So Anto can fight. He can really fight. In my opinion, his knockout ratio doesn't really suggest it, but he's probably one of the hardest punchers I've been hit by in the gym. Can really punch hard. One thing I would say about Anto and a wee bit of criticism would be sometimes he goes through the motions and he doesn't like to push it, go through the gears and get rid of guys when he can. I think it's important that he looks exciting tomorrow night. Not just win, but he looks exciting and win spectacularly. And he can't do that. Then call out the big names. He needs a shot. You've got Top Rank here, obviously. So Anto Kakachi and Navarrete. That's a fight I like.
Damian Jasinski as well. A good fighter, 26-2-2, some knockouts in his record as well, a tough Polish fighter. So it's the opportunity, like you say, to entertain the crowd and put on a big fight. Yeah,
I don't know much about him at the minute, and I think that I'll go and have a look before tomorrow night and we start to work on it. But Polish guys typically, anyway, are come forward, aggressive, hands high, and that's the sort of style that Anto Kakachi looks and shines against. So I'm hoping that's the sort of Polish fighter he is. And Anto's a quality fighter. He needs a wee bit of luck now at this point in his career, and hopefully he can get it.
And another fight we'll be looking at in the featherweight division, Nick Bull, who's got a fight against Ladumo Lamati, a big, tall, undefeated fighter, has only got one draw to go against him. Nick Bull has been enormously impressive in the fights we've seen him on BT Sport at York Hall and in Telford. He's been hugely impressive, and he was desperate to get on this card for the obvious reason that it's a featherweight world title fight top in the bill. How do you think his career's going, and how close to that top level do you think he is?
I really like Nick Bull. I think he's a quality fighter. I like all the guys in is it the Red Triangle? Yeah, I like all the guys in the Red Triangle in Liverpool. Fantastic gym. Nick Bull for me is probably the one in the gym. Quality fighter, little ball of muscle, explosive, no messing about, just gets the head down and gets stuck into people, and he's very, very exciting as well. I rate him. I really rate him. I think one of his only issues maybe is he's on the short side. He's very, very short. That may be a concern going forward against some of the bigger guys, but I don't think it concerns him. I think he thinks he can knock a brick wall down, which he probably can. So I like him, really, really like him. I think he's very, very exciting, and hopefully he looks good here tomorrow night. Again, I haven't done much research on this. I don't know much about the opponent yet, but the man, he's a South African, decent record, been in with some decent fighters. And every now and again you just get someone coming from South Africa or them sort of areas anyway in the African continent who can surprise people and make a big name for themselves. So he'll see this as his opportunity to kind of make people aware of him. So dangerous fight, but Nick Ball's clearly looking for a big fight against someone like Michael Conlan or the winner of this one. So that's why he's here.
I think Nick Ball's got that element of danger and excitement and charisma about him as well. There was a press conference yesterday and everyone was very respectful all throughout. Nick Ball, the only one who was kind of giving it the, I don't care what's going to happen, I'm going to knock someone out.
Yeah.
I'm going to knock someone out on Saturday. I don't care about talking, I just want to punch you in the face. That's always helps, doesn't it, when you're trying to make your name?
Look, I like it. There's a wee bit of kind of Mike Tyson type stuff about him and how he fights as well. He's that kind of explosive little ball of muscle, good head movement, jumps in from angles and lands good left and right hooks. But I like that. It's exciting, you know what I mean? He's here to do a job, and I imagine there is respect between him and his opponent, but he's fully focused on doing a job.
So let's talk about the featherweight division then. And we've got Nick Ball here, we've obviously got Conlan and Luis Alberto Lopez on top. We've got whatever's happening with the Wood and Lara fight tomorrow night as well. How do you see this division panning out over the next few months?
I don't really know. I think we'll know more from tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens when you've got Lee Wood and Lara, and obviously this fight here with Mick and Lopez. What I will say is though, it's not as if the loser is done. There's still fights to be made. The losers of these two fights tomorrow night could fight each other. You've got Josh Warrington still in the mix. You've got other guys coming through. You've even got Kiko Martinez, who only a couple of weeks ago lost in a final eliminator for a world title. So Kiko's still knocking about. Someone who we know in Belfast as well. So I mean, there's options and fights are available.
We have joining us on the stage here, Gareth Davis. How are we, my friend? How are you? All good?
Hey, doing Gareth? All right, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Let me trip you up. Get in the middle there. Wow. This brings back memories being here for you. This is a big fight town, isn't it?
You know, it is, and we've just talked about that at kind of the top of the show, but it is a big fight town, and this is probably the first big fight that I haven't been involved in since I've retired. So I'm excited. I'm overly excited about this week. I think it's going to be spectacular.
How do you find these Belfast fight weeks? Because my memories of them are always incredible. The atmosphere is always electric, and the people here love their boxing.
It's a very special city, Belfast, and I had the privilege of covering Carl's fights here. It feels like years ago now, but it's not that long ago, is it?
That's a few
10 years ago?
Yeah, maybe. So I think my last fight in Belfast may have been, if you take Windsor Park out of the equation, the last fight in the Odyssey was 8 years ago.
Yeah, but I remember the night at the Titanic with that ready-built stadium.
Yeah.
Wow, it was this. Belfast is a fight town. The people are beautiful here. It's the friendliest city in Europe, in my view. It really is. But they're hard as nails here. And they when you fight, when Conlan fights tomorrow night, the blood of Belfast goes with them.
Yeah.
People breathe. The entire city breathes with the fighter, and it does create a special atmosphere. And I get goosebumps here, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't get it in a lot of other places. It's phenomenal to be here. It's a tough fight for him as well.
Absolutely.
He's going to need the support.
Yeah, he'll need the support, and I think we talk about the fans. That's one of they'll be raucous, they'll be passionate, they'll be aggressive tomorrow, but they'll be respectful to Lopez as well. They appreciate a good fighter when they see one, and they've certainly got one in Lopez.
Gareth, there's obviously 3 big fights all going on tomorrow night in the UK. How glad were you when you got put in this one?
Phenomenally glad, as I say, because this is a brilliant place to come to. There's history here in lots of different ways. It's also probably the most competitive fight we got at the weekend. I do think it's ludicrous. I know that the promoters have all done an interview with me for the Telegraph, and the story is about to go out. They all had their reasons. Bournemouth could only do tonight. It was the only tomorrow night. It was the only time available before the pitch got ripped up. Eddie Hearn threw that late fight in the mix. with Mauricio Lara and Lee Wood, and said they were trying to get to Nottingham, they couldn't get to Nottingham. He thinks there's a deluge of backlog events because of COVID. You know, this is huge. You could easily have spread this out over 2 months, these 3 fights. And ironically, 3 of the next 4 weekends, there aren't fights.
There's nothing,
and it's ludicrous. It doesn't do the sport any favours. Don't split the audience. Don't split the journalism. Because all these guys, you know, they all deserve their night in the limelight. All 6 of these guys. So, you know, it's not a satisfactory situation. I know that Ben Schlom and George Warren sit down and try and map out a schedule. But, you know, promotional rivalries are always there, but they've got to try and work together on not doing this again.
No, I agree completely. It's just all it does is harms the sport. It harms the fighters. There's less viewers. There's less numbers watching each individual event, and
you
it's
want
a
to
shame.
watch live. That's
of course
the
you
thing.
do. You really do.
You always want to watch live.
Michael Conlan is set to walk just after 9 p.m. tomorrow night, so hopefully the fights end up in a way that they're staggered and everyone can watch what they want to watch. But let's talk about that fight. You described it as probably the most competitive of the 3 fights happening tomorrow. What do you see of Luis Alberto Lopez that Conlan should really look out for?
Like Frampton, like Calzaghe, like Ricky Hatton, like Nazim Hamed, they all have unique styles. He boxed when other people fought, and he fought when other people boxed. Amazing IQ. Lopez has got a style all of his own. He's called a deer for that prancing that he does, that he says he learned from playing soccer, from playing football, and he's got heavy hands. He's looked really good on the weight all week. He's a very contained individual. He's a weird fighter, probably hard to prepare for as well. Weird, elusive movement. But Conlan fights just as well orthodox as he does southpaw, and he's going to have to try and create a chess match here. And in a football analogy, not watch the player's body, but watch the ball. Do you know what I mean? And tackle the ball. Conlan's got it in him, for me, to win this fight on points, but it's a very tough fight. Maybe even a tougher fight than Lee Wood.
I would probably agree. I think this is a very tough fight.
Only probably.
Only probably. We don't know what's going to happen, but I think in terms of the typical Mexican, Lopez isn't that. He's very unorthodox. He jumps in from weird angles, and he has that punch power. He's got a good chin as well, and he's not afraid to dog it out too. One of my concerns for Mick Conlan tomorrow night is, I don't think Lopez done this already in Leeds, where he went and ripped the title in front of a raucous fan base in Leeds. He's not going to be worried really about the Belfast fans. I don't want Mick to get carried away with the home support and be overeager and do more than he has to do. I think he needs to stay switched on and focused. Probably a blessing in disguise now, looking back at the Lee Wood fight. He will not want to make a mistake. And hopefully it all works out for him on the night.
It seemed in the press conference yesterday, the way they were talking about being the away fighters, that they really thrived on the opportunity to upset the home crowd, didn't they?
Absolutely. What? You mean
Luis Alberto Lopez?
Oh, in Leeds. Oh yeah, he loved it. And he also played the referee very well on the night, I thought. He had this theory in his head that Josh Warrington is just a dirty fighter. You know, you fought the guy. You had an epic.
Look, I don't know.
He's not a dirty fighter necessarily, is he?
No, well, he gets away with it. I was nailed with a few headbutts, but rather than complaining, which I probably should have, I just got on with it. But look, he bulls in with his head, but as long as he's getting away with it and the referee's letting him, you do it.
But Mick has more versatility to his style than Josh Warrington. And Josh, with those 1-2s, wasn't getting anywhere in that fight. So Lopez was able to be elusive. He knew he was ahead in the fight because he had a brilliant first half of the fight, and he scratched his way through the second half of the fight. As long as, Adam Booth, the Dark Lord, has been very, very coy about the game plan. And I think they're going to fight Lopez a bit in the early rounds and try and get ahead and force Lopez to come at him. Because Michael's a brilliant counter-puncher. And I think he's got to start fast to get the early rounds.
That's a good point. I think if Mick gets a lead and Lopez has to come, then it suits Mick. He can walk him on the shops. I think Mick, in terms of his skill level, Ireland as a whole has produced some fabulous fighters, but there's no one as skillful as Mick Conlan. Skill level through the roof. Obviously, we all know it takes a little bit more than just skill to get there. But
would you have beaten him?
Would I have beaten him? It's a good question.
Come on.
Nah, look, we're different eras, we're different fighters. It would have been a hard fight for me, that's what I'll say. But Mick is someone who can frustrate people, And if Lopez is chasing a fight, I think then it becomes an easy fight for Mick.
I think I think it's 3 fights he's had since the knockout, isn't it? To Lee Wood. What he's shown is that, and he's spoken about this, that there's no scar tissue, there's no PTSD from that. He's happy to engage. He's looked fantastic in those last 3 performances, and I think if he hasn't learned from it, as Jamie Conlan was telling me yesterday, then he's just an idiot going in. His words, not mine. But that he has to learn from that, and in many ways, if he is ahead and they go into championship rounds, he won't be making the same mistake this time. And Lopez is a different kind of fighter. He doesn't hunt. Basically, he's called the deer, but Conlan's got to be the deer hunter early and the elusive fighter late for me.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
We were speaking before you came up on the stage here about Nick Ball, obviously on the undercard today, who has fought so hard to get on this card and get himself within touching distance of that world title, and just to be in the conversation of these world title nights. How much have you enjoyed his progression so far?
Nick Ball is the kind of guy that might get a couple of world title fights purely because he might be overmatched with the very technical world champions, but he will bring it.
Yeah,
and this guy was in amazing fights that I covered, so always amazing. Because not only was Carl a technician, but he had tenacity. Ball's learning technique all the time, but he's got tenacity in droves, and he will always produce a thrilling fight. He's also learning to talk a little bit more. He said a bit more at the press conference yesterday, and is doing it in the right way. There's a plethora of featherweights there for him to fight. I really hope he does get some world title fights. He's got to keep winning.
And you can see Queensbury are hugely fond of him. They're trying to promote him every step of the way. They want him in every card.
He's very marketable.
And the talent coming out of that gym as well. Carl mentioned earlier the Red Triangle gym. It's a great gym full of enormous talents, but he is the shining star there.
Yeah, absolutely is. And it's been brilliant to see him this week. I had a long chat with him and said that to him. Just be ready, because he's the kind of guy, if a world title fight falls through, they go, Ball.
We'll take
Let's get Ball in. Because you know it's going to sell numbers if it's a pay-per-view, and you know it's going to be a crowd pleaser. I mean, your most memorable fights, I assume, are the ones where the fans go, God, when you fought Leo Santa Cruz on the east coast of America. It's a night that'll never be forgotten.
Yeah, they talk about the good competitive fights. They don't talk about a boring quick fight, although the atmosphere was amazing. That people don't talk about that. It's forgotten about.
He just took his jab away that night.
Yeah.
He couldn't do anything.
But so they talk about Santa Cruz 1 and 2. They talk about Warrington, even though I lost that fight as well. So the fights that people remember are the exciting ones, and Nick Ball will always be an exciting fight.
And to add to the conversation earlier, adding it into that featherweight division, there's so many great fights there.
There really are, and you've got Bob Arum keeps talking to him about Robsy Ramirez as well,
quality fighter,
who really is probably going to catch them all up very quickly. And I suppose at one time, and maybe he should think about it, Vasyl Lomachenko could have been fighting in the division.
Yeah.
I think he's so overmatched at lightweights.
Yeah, he's too small for these guys, but he's having a go, isn't he? And he's a quality fighter. I love Lomachenko and everything about him, and he probably should be, although we say he's overmatched, he should be the unified lightweight champion, because in my opinion, and most people's opinion, he beat Devin Haney last week, but he could probably still do featherweight. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely he could. I need to ask you, because I haven't asked you for a year, when's the comeback?
I'll tell you, so the comeback...
You're too good at commentary.
The comeback is cancelled for a reason. I done the dad race in my little boy's sports day yesterday, pulled my hamstring, so I mean, you can't do that without pulling a hamstring.
I mean, you didn't win?
I made up one, it was close, me and another guy, it was very close.
Well, while you two talk about the dad race, I'd just like to welcome viewers from Top Rank and ESPN. Good morning to everyone here, and welcome to Belfast ahead of this IBF World Featherweight title fight between Luis Alberto Lopez and Michael Conlan. This is, of course, the weigh-in, and we're just getting ready. You can tell it's a fever pitch here in Belfast, and if you've not seen a Belfast fight week before, it gets very, very loud. So welcome, and very soon, I'm sure, we'll have the weigh-in. Just after Carl finishes talking about the technique of how to win a dad's sprint race, I think.
I'm finished. Not talking about it anymore. I've told the world about this now, and I feel like, I don't know, just disappointed. You know, Gareth, when you realise I've nothing left, I can't even do a sports day fun race without pulling a hamstring. I'm done. I'm on the scrap heap. and that's a terrible feeling.
You can tell Bob Arum, you mentioned Bob Arum slightly earlier, he gets a real glint in his eye with these weeks, and talking about Michael Conlan, doesn't he? He loves the attitude of the Conlan revolution, he loves a Belfast fight week, and he sees money in Michael Conlan, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, but the thing is, you've got the whole package, because you've got a guy who's very decorated, Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games. Obviously the historic story of him flipping the bird, if I can say that, after Rio, where he felt he was cheated out of a medal. It was at Rio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then they saw that. The Top Rank are very clever, as are Queensberry, by the way, in cultivating young fighters, having a conveyor belt. And I think when they looked at Conlan, they knew he'd have a big following in the United States, as you did when you travelled, and they knew that Belfast would embrace him, but they also knew that he had the boxing skills to go with it. And that, I mean, I was there at his debut. I don't know if you were there that night when Conor McGregor stole the show.
I wasn't there. I watched
in
on
the
TV.
theatre.
Yeah.
I mean, they do things right. They know how to draw that promotional value out of him. And Conlan, let's not forget, he's not one of those guys who is going to be on social media slagging his opponent and playing stunts and all those kind of things. He does his talking in the ring, and I think the value of him is that he typifies the value of the blood, the lifeblood of Belfast, and so he'll always have that following. When he fights in America, they travel with him from America and also from here. So now they've got a diamond there. He's just got to get the job done against the very dangerous Luis Alberto Lopez mañana por la noche.
And what kind of scenes do you think we'll be seeing in Belfast should he win tomorrow night? Winning the world title in the hometown.
Delirious. I mean, I'll never forget the Titanic night.
Yeah,
who did you fight that night?
I fought Kiko Martinez.
Kiko Martinez, that's right. Oh my God. They built in the Titanic Quarter, which is an amazing area of the city, called the Titanic area for a certain reason, obviously. They had built a stadium for you,
purpose-built, yeah.
Purpose-built.
Yeah.
It was a balmy night.
Yeah.
It was an amazing night. I remember Champ Cummings jumping up and down behind
very
me.
cold. People talked about how cold it was.
Yeah, but the warmth of the people, the delirious nature when you won that fight, people were singing into the streets till the early hours.
Well, it could be delirious tomorrow night. Let's throw to our MC, Thomas Schreiber, to get on with the weigh-in.
Incorporated and Frank Warren for Queensberry. We want to thank our great sponsor, 32 Red, and remind you that this great event will be televised live on BT Sport beginning at 6:30 p.m. local time and also in the United States on ESPN+. And if you can join us at the SSE Arena, our first fight will begin at 4 p.m. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to begin the weigh-in process. These two combatants competing tomorrow in a scheduled 4-round international super lightweight contest. First, we will welcome to the scale, with a professional record of 3 wins and 16 defeats. He comes to us from Zaragoza, Spain. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marius Istrate. 136 pounds for Marius Istrate. And now we welcome to the scale his opponent tomorrow night from Kirkby, England, undefeated with 6 wins. One of his 6 wins comes by way of knockout. Let's welcome Callum the Tank Thompson. 137.7 for Callum Thompson. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 4-round international super lightweight contest. We continue with the weigh-in. This fighter's opponent will be weighing in at a later time. He will be competing in a scheduled 6-round international lightweight contest against Jordan Ellison. From Dublin, Ireland, undefeated with 5 wins. One of his 5 wins comes by way of knockout. Let's welcome Willow Hayden. 140.8 for Willow Hayden. Our next fighter to the scale, also his opponent weighing in at a later time, that's Ruben Angulo. He will be competing in a scheduled 6-round international lightweight contest. He hails from Belfast, Ireland, undefeated with 5 wins. 2 of his 5 wins come by way of knockout. Let's welcome Fergus Mighty Flynn. 161.4 for Fergus Flynn. Our next fighter to the scale, also his opponent weighing in at a later time. He will be competing in a scheduled 8-round international featherweight contest. He's from Lisburn, Ireland. Let's welcome the undefeated fighter, Kurt Walker. $125.8 for Kurt Walker. Our next 2 fighters to the ring competing tomorrow in a scheduled 8-round international super flyweight contest. First, we will welcome to the scale, coming to us from Madrid, Spain. He brings a professional record consisting of 11 wins, 10 defeats, 2 draws. 5 of his 11 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Juan El Bravo Hinostrosa. £114 for Juan Hinostrosa. Next to the scale, his opponent tomorrow night From right here, Belfast, Northern Ireland, undefeated with 5 wins, 1 draw, 4 of his 5 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the magnificent Conlan Weigh-Ins. 115.3 for Conlan Weigh-Ins. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two compete tomorrow night in a scheduled 8-round international super flyweight contest. Our next two combatants to the scale compete tomorrow night in a scheduled 4-round welterweight contest. First to the scale from Islington. He has 127 professional bouts to his credit. Let's welcome Jordan, the Brown Eagle Brenham. $160.5 for Jordan Brenham. Next to the scale from Armstrong, making his professional boxing debut. Let's welcome James Freeman. 158.6 for James Freeman. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two compete tomorrow night in a scheduled 4-round welterweight contest. Our next two combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round international super middleweight contest. First to the scale from Santa Fe, Argentina, bringing a professional record of 25 wins, 9 defeats, 1 draw, 6 wins by way of knockout. Let's welcome Diego El Chacarero Ramirez. 162.3 for Diego Ramirez. Now to the scale, his opponent tomorrow from right here, Belfast, Northern Ireland, undefeated with 16 wins. 9 of his 16 wins come by way of knockout. Let's welcome to the scale, Patrick the Hammer McCrory. 168 pounds for Patrick McCrory. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two compete tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round international super middleweight contest. Our next two combatants to the scale compete tomorrow night in a scheduled 12-round contest, and it will be for the WBC Silver Featherweight Championship. First, we welcome the challenger coming to us from Johannesburg, South Africa. He brings an undefeated record consisting of 21 wins, 1 draw, 11 of his 21 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the scale, Ludumo 9mm Lamati. 125.5 for Ludumo Lamati. Now we welcome to the scale the defending champion coming to us from Liverpool, England. He brings an undefeated record with 17 wins. 10 of his 17 wins come by way of knockout. Tomorrow night in his third title defense, here is the reigning and defending WBC Silver Featherweight Champion, Nick Paul. 125.9 for Nick Paul. These two competing tomorrow night live on BT Sport and ESPN Plus. And a scheduled 12-round contest. It will be for the WBC Silver Featherweight Championship. Our next two combatants to the scale compete tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the WBC International Super Lightweight Championship. First, we welcome to the scale the challenger coming to us from Bistrița, Romania. He brings a record of 17 wins, 3 defeats with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alin Florin El Niño Siorsedi. 140 even for Alin Florin Siorsedi. Now to the scale, the defending champion coming to us from Dublin, Ireland. He is undefeated with 11 wins. 6 of his 11 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the reigning and defending WBC International Super Lightweight Champion, Pierce Big Bang O'Leary. 139.3 for Pierce O'Leary. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night live on BT Sport and ESPN Plus in a 10-round contest for the WBC International Super Lightweight Championship. combatants to the scale compete tomorrow night in a 12-round contest. It will be for the IBO Super Featherweight Championship of the World. We will first welcome to the scale the challenger, coming to us from Poznan, Poland. He brings a professional record consisting of 26 wins, 2 defeats, 2 draws, 1 no contest, with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the current IBO International Super Featherweight Champion, Damian "Shows the Machine" Jasinski. 129.4. $129.4. $129.9 for Anthony Kakachi. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night live on BT Sport and ESPN Plus in a scheduled 12-round contest. It'll be for the IBO Super Featherweight Championship of the World. Ladies and gentlemen, our main event tomorrow night, it is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it'll be for the IBF Featherweight Championship of the World. It is all being brought to you by Conlan Boxing in association with Bob Arams, Top Rank Incorporated, and Frank Warren for Queensberry. At this time, we are going to welcome to the scale our main event participants. First, we welcome the challenger. He had a stellar amateur career, becoming a 2-time Olympian, and now as a professional, he has a record consisting of 18 wins, just 1 defeat. 9 of his 18 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, from right here, Belfast, he is representing all of Ireland. Here is the former world title challenger, Michael Conlan. Conlan. And now at this time, we welcome the defending world champion. He has a professional record consisting of 27 wins, 2 defeats. 15 of his 27 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, de Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico, please welcome the reigning and defending IBF featherweight champion of the world, Luis Alberto Lopez.
Y me preguntó si tengo muchas novias. Muchas novias. Hoy tengo una, mañana otra. Y me preguntó si tengo muchas novias. Muchas novias. Hoy tengo una, mañana otra. Me la voy a llevar la toda con VIP. Saludos a ti, vamos a tirarnos un selfie. $125.5 for Luis Alberto Lopez. Tomorrow night, live on BT Sport and ESPN Plus, 12 rounds scheduled for the IBF Featherweight Championship of the World. For the IBF Featherweight Championship of the World.
Hi, man. Great, man.
Oh, what's happening? There we go, folks. Right, as you can see, we're here with Michael Conlan. We've got the crowds. Where are your adrenaline levels now?
I'm nice and calm. No point in being rolled up with the weigh-in or anything. I'm calm. Tomorrow night's what it's all about. I'll be focused. As you've seen this whole week, I've just been calm, relaxed. No need to have any hostilities with the opponent. I'm here to do a job, and that's win, so I'm calm, relaxed, looking forward to it.
Is that a lesson you've learned from the Lee Wood fight? Because I remember speaking to you and you said you were a bit overcharged and the energy was... So it's about just staying relaxed. There's no need to waste energy at this point.
Nah, listen, I've been calm all week. I don't think I've ever been this kind of calm. And definitely a lesson from the last World Title Challenge where I was getting rolled up, shouting at the crowd and stuff, and even walking to the ring I was doing that. So I'm relaxed. I've learned the lessons and now I'm focused.
And Lopez himself says he enjoys being the away fighter. He flourishes in difficult scenarios with difficult crowds. Are you thinking that, like, even though tomorrow night we know what the crowd's going to be like, you're just going to have to try and cut them out and focus on your own game?
Yeah, listen, Carl will tell you, it's like having the extra man, no behind you, pushing you. It's nothing about the opponent. I don't lose just a face in front of me, you know what I mean? There's just a body in front of me who I got to beat. So, yeah, you have that kind of push from the crowd and stuff, and I'll feed into the energy, yes, but on that, let it be the overriding emotion.
And to be the face on this card, the main man on this card, with so many Irish fighters, so many Belfast fighters, how big an evening is this for you, and how big do you think the overall effects of this evening will be going forward for fighters from Belfast and Ireland?
Yeah, it's not something to really think about, but it is just great. It's an honour as always. He can tell you how special it is to put on nights at home for everybody else on the undercard as well. You know I've seen the first effects with my own brother being on undercards, and how grateful we were for them opportunities. And you know, it's great. And the fact that me and my brother are both doing the promotion ourselves is also a big part of it. But that's not something that I think about at this moment or in this time space, because I've got one job, and that's to win.
Not to put you under any pressure, Mick, but I think a lot of the guys on the undercard are almost relying on you to win to bring big time boxing back to Belfast. And I think without getting too carried away, you can be carrying this city anyway a long distance in terms of bringing the big fights back, but you have to win, don't you? It's so important, and it's a must win for you.
100%. I understand that, and you know, obviously we've spoken about that before, but I've just got to focus on one, and I agree, it's a must win. I have to win for that to continue, and I believe I will. I believe I'll go and put on a masterclass tomorrow. Yeah,
we all want you to win. I'm buzzing about this, a big fight being back in Belfast. Obviously you had your fights in the field in the Falls Park, but this is different. There's a different feel about this. The atmosphere along fight week from Monday, start of fight week, the atmosphere has been building around the city, and people are buzzing about this. I think it's going to be a special atmosphere. Some of the guys at BT may not be aware how noisy and passionate this is going to be. This is could spook the best of people, but I think this guy Lopez, I don't know how the crowd will affect him. I think he just fights his fight, and that's why it's really important that Mick just fights his own fight as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Nick, you've got 10,000 people are going to be screaming for you tomorrow. I'm going to let you get to it.
Thank you.
Concentrate on the big night. All the best. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Down there. Professional. Just throwing mics around. That's what we do here. He looks very focused.
No, he just looks good. I like what he said about when you asked him a question about what's he feeling. Is he feeling any energy off this crowd? And he said, no, I'm just relaxed. That's how he has to be. There's no point wasting energy the day before a fight and getting all nerved up and tensed up and everything like that. And I think talking about the Lee Wood fight, he will have learned a lot from that fight. I think he was emotionally charged in that fight. I think there's a lot of emotion in it. It's just about staying relaxed until you need to switch on, and then when you're switched on and it's time to go.
Both fighters making weight there. Conlan often looks quite drained at the weight. Luis Alberto Lopez looked absolutely fine. Looked like he did it very comfortably.
Yeah, he looked great. He looked fantastic on the scales. Here he is.
Here's the man himself. And he grabbed his
How are you, champ?
Nice to meet you. There we go. And if you guys get in the middle. Hey, nice to meet you. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Where?
Up in the middle?
In the middle?
In the middle? Yeah. All good. Okay, so obviously you see the Belfast atmosphere now, but we know you enjoy being the away fighter. How excited and how much adrenaline do you have now after this event?
Obviamente pues sientes obviamente sientes la adrenalina que se siente en Belfast, el ambiente. Estás acostumbrado a esta clase de escenarios. ¿Cómo te sientes en este momento?
Sí, me siento muy contento. La verdad que trabajé bastante. Estoy listo para subirme por el sábado por la noche a la pelea ya y contento con la gente de Belfast. Me ha tratado muy bien, la verdad, y pues solo esperar el día de la pelea.
I'm feeling great. I've been making a great training camp this time. It has been a great welcome by the Belfast fans and all over the world and of the UK. And I'm just waiting to go on Saturday and do my job, do my fight.
And at the weight, you look very comfortable. You don't look particularly drained. It looked like it was a very easy weight cut for you.
Se siente como que realmente no te sientes desgastado, se te ve en la cara, se te ve en el cuerpo, que realmente pues no has batallado mucho para poder lograr dar el peso del día de hoy.
No, hice la mejor preparación de mi vida, estoy listo, como lo voy a repetir, estoy listo para subirme al ring y demostrar quién soy, que soy un verdadero campeón. No me costó para nada dar el peso.
No, I did a great preparation with my strength conditioning team, with my trainers, a great training camp. So yeah, like you mentioned,
Great training camp. You felt good. You felt good, basically.
This is a voluntary fight for Luis, right? A voluntary opponent. This is a voluntary opponent for Luis.
Sí, fue voluntario, yo escogí la pelea, yo la agarré, yo dije vamos para allá y aquí estamos.
My promoter offered me this fight. Yeah, like I mentioned, it's an optional fight,
and it was quick.
And I chose it.
It was quickly.
Yeah,
yes,
I
no
chose
problem.
It. When they told me you're going versus Michael Conlan, you're going to Belfast, I said let's take it.
Okay.
Do you enjoy the fact that you enjoy being a weight fighter? Do you like the fact that perhaps everyone here is here to see Michael Conlan and people will maybe underestimate you? Do you enjoy that?
A veces, pues obviamente estamos en Belfast, estamos con Michael Conlan, todo el mundo viene a ver a Michael Conlan. ¿Sientes a veces que te subestiman?
Siempre lo han hecho y ese es el mayor error de ellos porque al final del día hay que estar campeón.
It happens all the time. It has been happening on all of my career, and that's the worst mistake they have to do because look, I'm the champion.
What's next for you, Luis? I imagine he expects to win. What's his dreams and what does he want to do after Mick Conlan?
Después de tu pelea con Michael Conlan, ¿cuál es tu sueño? ¿Qué es lo siguiente para ti?
Sí, lo vengo diciendo desde hace rato. Quiero unificar, quiero los demás campeones, quiero hacer todo lo que se puede en las 126 libras y luego subir las 130 libras.
I've been telling my promoter, my manager all the time. After this fight, I want all the belts. I want all the belts in 126 and then go up to the 130s.
I love the ambition. All the best. Enjoy tomorrow night. Thank you so much. All the best. Thank you.
Good luck, champ. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best.
Get that microphone over there.
Seems confident.
Seems very confident.
Yeah.
Seems so relaxed. He seems to be really enjoying the spotlight.
Yeah, I think so. And I think he's like we said, we talk about the leads and fighting in America as well as the underdog in fights. I think this guy's used to hostile environments.
Here we go. We got Adam Booth here untangling some wires. Thank you for joining us, Adam.
How are you, Adam? All right, mate.
Obviously, for Michael, he's got to kind of cut these or separate himself from the excitement of these Belfast events. Do you get a little bit when you see the buzz of the crowd that you like to take in?
Yeah. I mean, it's nice that we've got to appreciate the moments that we're in, but not for long.
Is it important for him, Adam, to stay calm the whole way through it? We just spoke to him and he said he's just feeling relaxed. I think maybe he got a wee bit emotionally charged and caught up in the atmosphere the last time against Lee Wood. Is it important just to stay relaxed in the build-up?
And like he wants it so badly that's his fuel during training camp. Come ring walk, he needs to forget how badly he wants this.
Yeah.
We know that's there. We know that determination and competitive spirit's there. He has to be smart on the night. Use emotion at times, but he has to be smart.
Carl said before the weigh-in that in many ways that Lee Wood fight was a good thing for Michael as a fighter. He learned things from that fight. What do you think you've changed in the two fights afterwards?
I know what we've changed, but I'm not going to tell you now just in case someone translates it.
What do you think's changed within him?
We looked at, the Lee Wood fight showed us so much about Mick because he'd never had a fight like that. He'd never performed like that. He'd never fought on the inside like that in the southpaw stance at that level of competition. So although the end of that fight was the worst thing we could have imagined, there was so much to take from it and also some adjustments to be made. I genuinely am absolutely convinced that Michael Conlan now is at the apex of his career and he's in his peak.
I think something we learned about Mick's character in the next fight after Wood was Mariaga, who's a puncher. I thought that was a very, very brave fight to take, but it's a fight that if you win, you've got the confidence back.
Absolutely, and especially when you come off a stoppage or a knockout loss, there's always that lingering little doubt in the back of your mind. And after that fight with Mariaga, we were in the change room, and he said Mariaga hit him on the hip in the first round, and he said he'd never been hit like that before. So that was a realistic take from that fight, not an artificial one where you kind of tell yourself, all right, I'm not gun shy. He knows he's not gun shy.
Yeah.
Do you think he got more confidence from going the rounds or from the early knockout?
With Mariaga in the last one? No, it's not. It's really been a progression since the Lee Wood fight and getting over that intense depression. getting back and just striving. Actually, his first spar back after the Leigh Wood fight told me so much, because he sparred with Harlem Eubank, and he and Harlem always have lively spars. And in the very first round, Mick picked the fight and did not flinch and did not shy away. And that told me straight away that the loss to Leigh Wood hasn't given him that. He's okay,
yeah. And has he made any plans for after this fight? Obviously, never look past the next fight.
There's your answer to your question. There's the answer to your question.
But with what's happening today with the other featherweight title fight, don't even think about it.
Do not care. It's just a bit of titillation for us to watch to kill the time until tomorrow's night.
And being someone that's been supported so well throughout his career, he must be very good at that single-mindedness.
Yeah, Mick copes with pressure. You know, like, and to be an elite amateur when the bouts are so short, and you know you get touched by one shot and you can lose a gold medal. So he's used to operating with so much at stake in nanoseconds. He's used to it.
All right then, Adam, I'll let you get to it. All the hard work is done now. Just the fight tomorrow.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for your time. The easy bit.
Good luck, Adam. All the best, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And now we've got Jamie Conlan, promoter and brother of Mick, coming in. How are you doing? All good?
Jamie, how are you, mate?
All good.
Oh, nice to see the crowd here, isn't it? It feels like Belfast Fight Week now.
It feels like the big nights that he used to bring back to here, and it's good. We spoke about it during the week that it's different. These nights are different. You know, we thought, well, we were doing nights and we were doing fights with Mariaga and with Cream Gurphy, and I thought they were great nights and a building process. But it's all to this pivotal moment in the sport.
When there's a world title on the line, that's when people really come out and take notice. And this place is sold out. You look at the crowd here for a weigh-in on a Friday evening. Like the whole city, like we were talking about this, it's buzzing. And we're all relying almost, not to put pressure on you and Mick, we're relying on him to win to bring these big nights back to Belfast.
No, especially with the week we've just had with Katie losing and Cully losing, and like that was two of our shining lights losing. It's pivotal. This is a big stage for Irish boxing and the future, not just for Michael but for the lads on the undercard, Kakachi, Paddy. You know, the big guy has to win for the TV companies to come, for the big promoters to come in the big fights, the world title fights to come. So it's a massive night, it's a massive fight, and it's starting to feel like it now.
Yeah, it is. It's already feeling like it. I mean, I've been buzzing the whole week, and
buzzing because you're not making weight for this one?
Well, probably a bit of that, but it's just, this is kind of the first big fight in Belfast that since my career was finished, that I like. Maybe the Avalos fight in the Odyssey was 8 years ago, so it's been a long time coming, and it's nice to be able to do it with a legitimate fighter in Mick Conlan, who can be a world champion, who can defend his title, and who can go up divisions as well, and this guy can be a superstar, genuinely.
Do you think a night like Saturday night, fighting for a world title in front of the hometown, this is the moment where he finally sort of exercises the demons from those Olympic years and finally gets what he deserves as a boxer?
No boxer gets what they deserve in boxing. Boxing is a sport that doesn't love you back. You love it as much as you want, they'll never love you back. It's like one of them ex-girlfriends that you always had when you're a teenager. But it's a big night for him. It's the opportunity to really fulfill his potential. Michael being the only ever Irish amateur world champion as a man, and to do it as a professional, it would be like, it's history. It's Irish boxing history. It's a fantastic opportunity. It's always been put on him. He was a real front runner and a flag bearer in the amateur days, and a lot of expectations in the Olympic Games, especially in Rio. And then when he turned pro with McGregor and all the fanfare that came with it, a lot of hype, a lot of things surrounded him. And some of that thing is you can never really reach it when the cameras are on you so early in your career. But this is his opportunity, and to do it in his hometown. Carl, when he done it with Kiko, he probably knows more than anyone, and he's best to speak to about it, because like them nights he'll never forget. Like that's people who talk about that for the rest of their lives. So this is Michael's opportunity, crowning opportunity.
And it's shaping up to be quite a special night for a lot of Belfast fighters and Irish fighters as well. The undercard is just stacked with guys with local support or nearby support. Has it been a real joy putting this card on?
It has, no, because like Andy Kakachi, he's a forgotten man in Irish boxing. For him to come home and be a co-main, like that's amazing in its own. He can headline his own shows if he wins and looks good. And if Michael keeps continuing and BT are coming back and ESPN and Top Rank, Pierce O'Leary, who I've been raving about since I seen him in the National Under-22 Championships, Paddy McCrory, like we've always had quality here. We've always had quality fighters and always had progression on quality fighters, but we don't always get the the opportunity to showcase that at the broadcasting level, national broadcasting level. This is a chance for everyone to shine, and everyone will be out to steal the show.
Pressure is something that's come up all week, and that's the word that we keep hearing. Who's the pressure on? Pressure's on Mick, really, because it's his hometown. He's not getting any younger anymore, and he kind of has to win. But Mick is someone, you'll agree with me here, I don't think English people will get the pressure that's put on amateur boxers in Ireland. Like, the pressure's insane already, and then when you turn pro, it just increases and ramps up a notch. Mick can deal with the pressure, can't he?
Well, see, you touched on it there again. Like, people in England, they don't see amateur boxers on the back pages, the sports pages. Like, we're used to seeing it.
Yeah.
Amateur boxing is one of our forefronts of sport here. It's the front runner in the Olympic Games for Ireland, when athletics is for GB, etc. So he's been made in pressure, born in pressure, and then the Olympics with the whole fanfare regarding that. Harry, headlining Madison Square Garden on your debut, doing a six-round fight on your debut, with Conor McGregor walking you out.
Yeah,
that's pressure.
Of course it is.
All building to this moment, and we spoke about this previously. Like, these experiences he's went through, all stand him in good stead for nights like this. Whereas the likes of ourselves, when we were turning pro, we were on the undercard at 6 o'clock, and we got a chance to mature and learn.
I was 4 in Liverpool in front of 5 people, I think.
I was we boxed both. At my debut, you were fighting in McCluskey's card, and I was in Rogi's card. It was an insane night, but I got lucky and got a live float just before Rogi. But we got a chance to learn, to mature, to make our mistakes. We weren't under the scrutiny that
it all happened very quick for me.
Very much so. Scrutiny came very quickly. People were picking holes in him from day one, where we didn't get that, and that's kind of where he's had to learn and adapt on the job. So pressure is something he thrives in.
Well, Jamie, hopefully it all comes together tomorrow night. Thank you very much for your
time.
Good luck.
And you, of course, can join us at 6:30 p.m. on BT Sport 1 tomorrow for Luis Alberto Lopez against Mick Conlan for the IBF featherweight title. It is going to be an incredible night here in Belfast, and the main event should start at around 9 p.m. So a nice early one for you. Tune in tomorrow night. Thank you very much.